Okay, Joshua, firstly, thank you so much for your patience. I can't really thank you enough. I truly and sincerely appreciate it. But your wait is over. Here we go. So this is a time sonar. It's a 7015 movement, and the watch is unusual, not in any function that it has, but in the way that it's cased. In that we have a semi-translucent dial, and at the back you can see through. There's nothing really sonar-y about the watch except for the fact that you can see through the case back in the dial. So maybe that's the thing, is that you can see through things. This one, it's been cases and polished. This is an aftermarket bracelet. As these, with this dark plastic back, these have a tendency to crack a lot. And yours is definitely cracked. These are all cracks and shatters. I have in the past had some success with using a pretty thinned out clear acrylic to go in here and to fill these cracks and then polish it down. And I'll probably want to try that here. It can't do any harm. There it is, and there's our 7-0 blank movement. And what's cool, of course, this is the only one I know of where they anodized the weight. So 15A. Yeah, pretty hazy. And it's got a black, it's also got an anodized movement ring. I mean, they wanted to really make it look interesting. Yeah, so this little black plastic diddly here, woo, filthy. Filthy. Fun cleaning that. It's interesting, by the way, that it still has the text on the inside, because normally that goes away. Wow. Look at the corrosion and stuff in there. I'm gonna have to get in there with chemicals. Okay, so we're gonna have some serious cleaning. I'm gonna have to do some. I'm gonna have to try to basically run clear acrylic down here to seal these cracks up and hopefully strengthen it, because there are no replacements. Okay. So these have a typical 7000 series casing setup where you have a gasket like this that sits there, and you have this anodized black ring, which is, I wouldn't call it dirty, but it's definitely a little hazy. Boy, everybody's screaming today. Oh my lord. It's a hard life for babies, especially when those babies are 4 years old. The heck is he screaming about? Sorry about that. Okay. Okay, well, that crisis is dealt with. Crises. All the crises. All right. Oof, it's chilly. Okay. So this framework here is a little wobbly. I'll do my best to tighten that up. So here's your standard 7015. It's nice. It's got multiple diaphic settings. This one's pretty hazy, but it doesn't look like it rusted, which is super nice, because these do have a tendency to rust like crazy. If the seals are not maintained, this one looks like it came out okay. It's a little stiff. Oh, come on. There we go. Yeah, someone did that magic trick. The seal was stiff, so what they did is they took a razor blade or something and they chopped off the extra around the outside so that it would still work rather than just replacing the thing. Okay, get this off of here. Yeah, talk about an old trick. Yeah, because the seal is just plastic. Look, it just shatters to pieces. Just bits. Let's get this off of here. Oh, I wanted to do that too. Let's get this off of here. Would you just get off? I'll do this off camera. It's not really important right now because I got to break the case down separately. There we go. There we go. Cool. Okay, cool. You can have them. They're right here.
What was mean?
No, she didn't understand that they weren't yours, but you can have them. They're right there.
Well, I just want to play with them.
You can have them. I will give them to you. They are yours.
They're mine.
They are yours. You may take them, and if Willow has a problem, she can come and talk to me, but they are yours.
Daddy, what's in this box here?
A part for the orange car.
For the orange car?
Yep.
Why? What color is it?
No. Crisis once again averted. Anyway, got the dial off. It's interesting. It's a two-piece construction where you have this chapter ring, which has the dial feet, then you have this plastic dial, which has the printing on it. Interesting. You know, it's been actually a good number of years since I had a time Sonar in here. I used to own one a long time ago, but all gone now. All the watches I used to own, the crazy, weird, rare watches I used to own. Oh well, doesn't matter. I wouldn't have worn them. If I still owned them, I'd sell them. Obviously, I don't miss them because I don't ever wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat saying, God. Blink. Okay. Okay. Come on. Such great tech, though, these movements. They're so nice. I mean, they really did put care into them. Interesting. Okay, so you're missing your little keeper spring washer right here. So I'll have to be replacing that. What is she screaming about? Oh, my Lord. It's because it's snowing today and people are bouncing off the walls. And no, well, not just snowing, but also there's forest fires and ash dropping all over the house, and it's snowing because we had an unprecedented temperature drop. Would you get off of there? This is always something very interesting. Seiko, the things that they did, I don't know, you can see. If you look at the pallet fork, notice it's hollow. It has those little lines in there. They cast these in order to save weight. Pretty amazing piece of tech. Okay, now we are going to go righty-loosey on our reverse thread. Righty-loosey, lefty-tighty. Okay. There's that. There's this, that's coming out. That's not bad. I've certainly seen worse. Dusty, hazy, hazy, dusty. Okay. Yeah. See, there's one warpy washer right there. You can see that's what we need. We're going to need a second one for that. I need to take this apart, but I will do that off camera. So let's see what we got. Okay. Okay, so now let's do this thing. Yeah, see, look. It's had some moisture inside, but no water. There's no rust. These things, that's, I mean, generally you don't want to get water near any of these things, but for some reason, these babies, boy, they rust like point. Your clip spring is bent for some reason. I'll see if I can bring that back to life. Okay, let's go. The nice thing about all these 7016, 7015, whatever, all these movements is they made them basically common depending on what it is they needed. So like this has the port and the lower bushing and everything for having like lower minute counter stuff, and it's not needed, but they said, well, screw it, and they made the parts common, and so they can do whatever. You get a nice commonality of all these parts, which I think is smart from a production standpoint. Come on, come on, would you get off of there? You really don't want to come out, do you? So because I took this apart when the chronograph was closed, it's going to pull up the chronograph wheel. You can actually see the whole setup right there, because the operating levers there are in place. Silly of me. Okay, got that out. There is your chronograph wheel. Heart of the whole business. Okay, here's your operating levers and the on-off cam that this thing uses. And there's that. Goes in there. And there you have the train. And from this point, it looks really simple, doesn't it? These are pretty simple. A little bit of wear on your lower mainspring rubber work, but goodness knows I've seen worse. There is your escape wheel. There's that. There's that. So now let's flip it over. We're going to look at the front. Now this thing, it didn't get water in it, but it got a lot of sun. Boy, it got a lot of sun. So you have your both, because of that clear dial, these are both just faded down to nothing. And they're real hazy as a result too. I am going to look in my stuff for a replacement one of these because it would look a lot better if these were not faded all out to nothing. So I'd be shocked if I didn't have one. So I'll look for one and we will see about getting that in for you. I think that would be cool. You know, if something shows, let's make it look nice. Yeah, man, that's faded. I'd be shocked if I didn't have one that was nicer. Because these are so weather stained, weather beaten. I mean, they're functional, but they just look really kind of dim and not pretty. And it's the little things. Give you that first impression. Yeah. Look at this. It's interesting. Even this plate has a port for that minute counter, even though this system doesn't use it. But this model, I should say. Yeah, you can see how dull this is. But the rest of this looks nice. Another nice thing about the 7000 series, all metal, fully jeweled. Yeah, in the train bridge it's got those diafix settings, and in this main plate it's got this little diddly right here, which acts as a diafix. There's your center wheel. Exciting stuff. Die shock setting. It goes in there. That's the great thing that Dynie did with their designs is that just their simplifications were just really, really, really amazing. Because they didn't make things worse or cheaper, but they made them much more efficient, which is nice. I usually like to leave this in place because this until after it's clean, because this spring can go kapoink, and it's just makes me happier to do that. This I don't usually get rid of because it doesn't do a whole lot. Just leave it there. I gotta look at that lower mainspring arbor. Oh yeah, it's definitely slopping around. Yeah. Look at that thing shift side to side. And that's not me just tipping it back and forth. That's just like it's going thump, thump, thump. Yeah, so I gotta look at that lower mainspring arbor port. Let's open this mainspring barrel. See what we're dealing with. Hey, that doesn't look bad. That doesn't look bad at all. Yeah, pretty clean. In fact, it doesn't look like whoever worked on this thing put any lubricant in there. If they did, it was the kind that runs away. It was not the S2 lubricant. What's that all about? What's with all this scratching and scraping? Why is that there? I don't know. I'll have to look at it. Okay, so now I'm going to take this out and put in a jewel there, and we're going to get this into the cleaner. Okay, so here's the main plate, all clean and out. There's your new lower mainspring arbor bushing. You can see that right there. Talking about the faded day and date wheels. Hang on a sec. There's your original day and date wheel. And here are some replacements that I've cooked up. They're not new, but they are definitely in better condition than yours. They've got that sort of brightness and that shine to them. If this were my watch, this is what I would use, because you can see, you will be able to see the dial underneath those. But it's up to you. Functionally, these are fine. There's no functional point to them. They just look sort of dingy. It's certainly it's up to you, but that option is there for you. Okay, well, let's get this going. Okay, starting in. First thing I always do is to check out to make sure that I'm sorry, I'm daydreaming. Check to make sure that the mainspring barrel does what it's supposed to do. Because whenever you futz around with any of the lower stuff, it can be a problem. Hang on a sec. Sorry about that. Okay, so I have your train bridges already assembled. It's one of those things you want to do first. So it is assembled and it is lubricated. We're just going to drop this on there. There are no wheels or anything else in place. And all we are doing is just making sure that the... Can't even see what I'm doing. I'm so sorry. I'm out of frame. Hang on. I'll have to adjust that here in a second. Just a little too far away for me. Anyway, so what we're trying to do is we want to make sure that the mainspring barrel, that it behaves as it should and it's running in plane, which it is. You can see it's a nice turner. It turns with minimal pressure. And look at that. It even it'll spin on its own. Look at that. Do you see that? You look at the top of that mainspring arbor there. That's awesome. Okay, that's great. Good. No interference from there. Okay, let me adjust. Okay, getting there. I know some of you might be like, why didn't you show us what you were doing? I'm all for showing stuff, as long as it doesn't interfere with my primary duty, which is to make sure that I do a good job on a watch. So I owe it to the owner to do the best job I can, and if I cannot find a way to balance the two things, showing you guys stuff and getting the owner what they need, I'm going to go with the owner. But that's, I'm sure, not a surprise. Okay, so I've got that all ready to go. Hang on. So always with these, the most challenging thing is to get it to the point that it's all free running. I want to make sure that it's doing what it should. Oh, whoops. Okay. And that's in both states. It's a runner. Okay, so now we are going to make sure you can see what I'm doing here. Here's the pallet fork. It's special cast framework to save weight. Or mass, really. Okay. Oh, and here is this, there's that new little keeper spring in there, spring washer diddly. And there that is, okay. So that is now back in place. You know, so few of these watches ended up in a part of the world that took the time to take care of them, so you often see them with strange repairs and things like that. And missing bits, and this is certainly no different. And I'll tighten those down in just a second. As soon as I get this on. Yeah, I mean, because that's all scratched up, and it's absolutely clean. It's just scratched up. It's only got one flat side. They really did find some pretty wild ways to make this one economical to produce. Okay, there's that. Okay, it runs. Well, it clicks over anyway. Come on. You know you want to. There. And look at that. These really have such nice balances, and the way that's all set up and is so good. And Seiko used the exact same stuff for so long. Diney did, anyway. For so long on all of these. All the parts are interchangeable, and they really had it dialed in. I still don't know why they abandoned this type balance with this stud on there. There's no reason for them to have done so, but yet they did it. What do I know? Okay, so clearly running. Let's see what the numbers have to tell us. Let's see. Hang on just one second. Woo! Okay, Josh, and it is now the next day. But there it is. My super brilliant idea about swapping out your day wheel so it would be nice and unfaded didn't work at all. All of the ones I have are for a 345 crown, not a 3, and there's no way to index these on their star wheel. Seiko did a great job making sure that those two parts did not move. This hand is preset to that shaft, so it's a little bit over here. It is what it is. There's no way for me to make that better. What a ridiculous amount of work. Here is your old dead main plate, which you're more than welcome to look at. It was a lot of tuning and adjusting and making things right. I also had a fair amount of time in working on this translucent case back. So it is in better shape than it was. A lot of the cracks I have filled and polished in the back. Some of them you can still see, but it is, I would say, definitely more solid than it was. And I was able to remove a lot of the scratches. The case is fine. It sets and resets as it should. You can still see there's some of that stress cracking in there. There's the really big ones, I was able to improve some of them. Those little ones there, I wasn't able to do much with. But there it is. I thank you so much for your patience, so much. I appreciate it. I know it's been a very long time, so I'm very much excited, looking forward to getting this back to you. And that's about it. Okay, thank you, Josh.